Horrible news. The Somali daycare featured in Nick Shirley's expose was a victim of vicious MAGA burglars who broke into the building and stole all the records and paperwork. Coincidentally, the records and paperwork that the state investigators would need to see in order to successfully conduct their audit.
Morning, I was called by the owner because unfortunately someone came in to our daycare. We looked and saw what happened, and we saw that the suspect came in from the back, broke in from the back kitchen, and he also destroyed the wall to come in. As we walked around the daycare, we saw that our office doors was broken into as well. We saw that, unfortunately, there was important documentation, enrollment of the children, and also employee documentation that was gone. There were also checkbooks that were ripped from our check papers that were ripped from our book. This is devastating news, and we don't know why this is targeting our Somali community, as one video made by a specific individual made this all happen. We've been receiving hateful messages through our voice notes threatening us since the past couple of days, including one that happened yesterday morning after the break-in. This is frightening and exhausting because this is happening to us Somali communities as Somali Americans. We are supposed to stand with each other and help each other through everything that's happening. This is also sad that a video can cause all of this. I want to say that there are hundreds of daycares out there, Somali daycares that are out there, and we all help our children and everyone in our community. We have high quality daycares, and this is very sad news that one individual who made a false claim about fraud that is happening in the daycares engaged everyone else to come and do this to us.
Occupy Democrats, MAGA terror, Somali-run daycare in Minnesota gets broken into and barraged with threats of violence after MAGA smear video goes viral. Congratulations, Republicans. Here's your family values, death threats to daycare centers, and burglaries. The Nokomis Daycare Center in Minneapolis was broken into yesterday, leaving a trail of damage and debris. The thieves stole sensitive employee and client documents, which, we'll remind you, include the personal information and home addresses of 71 children. Nasrullah Muhammad, the business's 20-year-old manager, told the Minnesota Star Tribune that the breach has led to immense fear in the community. "We're honest. We don't do any fraud or nothing," said Muhammad. "All this happened today, not because of the truth of the facts, but because of fear and lies." The robbery comes after the daycare center received at least 20 threatening phone calls, some of them filled with ethnic slurs and insults to the Islamic religion. All this can be directly tied back to Nick Shirley's baseless accusations of fraud against the Somali daycare in Minnesota, which has a large Somali diaspora population. The video was taken viral on Twitter by Elon Musk's racist algorithm, and now daycares in Minnesota are facing the consequences. Terror and violence fall wherever MAGA goes. Come on, Democrats. You're being silly now. You're very stupid, but you're not that stupid. And you're really stupid for thinking we're so stupid that we would believe you're that stupid. Because even though you are that stupid, no one is that stupid, even stupid idiots like you. In all seriousness, no one in their right mind would believe that a burglar chose to break into the daycare to steal records. And coincidentally, right when them records were going to be needed for whatever audit the investigators were about to do. And let me guess, them records will never resurface. So the evil MAGA white terrorist that stole your records is hoarding them somewhere and will never release them. So I guess this evil white MAGA terrorist did you guys a really big favor, huh? Sure, totally believable. Wonder if the cameras caught the suspects on tape. I'm sure the police are poring over the tapes right now, right? There should be video from the surrounding area of the suspect's vehicle. Because the Somalis wouldn't stage a break-in to dispose of inconvenient paperwork, would they? I'm being facetious, of course. There isn't any cameras. The stupid bastards obviously staged a break-in. And the Democrats know this is patently ludicrous, that no one believes this, but they're actually going to try and pretend that it's believable. They're going to look you in your face and outright lie to you. Like they did about the Russian collusion hoax, the Jean Carroll conspiracy to defame Donald Trump, the January 6th Fedsurrection, Joe Biden's mental health, the southern border being secure, Kamala Harris being ahead in the polls, illegal aliens receiving free health care, and diversity being our greatest strength. So these stupid assholes really either believe that you're stupid enough to believe these ridiculous lies, or evil enough that you pretend to be that stupid. They are stupid for thinking this will work. But to be fair, you know what? I can understand them thinking that it could work because a half of America was fooled by arguments like this.
So, this is what happens when your own federal government wages war against you. This is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit. This is what happens when they scapegoat. And this is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy when you hear the Vice President of the United States talk about now white people won't have to apologize for being white. That's never happened once in my whole damn life. And I think everybody in this room knows what they're doing. So we're here today to say enough of this. We're here today to stand that Minnesota will protect their neighbors.
Yes, Tim. Deflect from the Somali crime wave by bringing up white supremacy 10 times in one sentence. Please keep bringing up white crime and white criminality when we were talking about Somalis stealing billions of dollars from the U.S. taxpayer. Absolutely. That will make us angry Americans back off. Let's get another helping of white supremacy with our turkey, with a pinch of white guilt.
Look, it's not law-abiding citizens. If that were the case, there's a lot of white men should be holding a lot of white men accountable for the crimes that they have committed. I think for the community to maybe educate their population, because I think what you're seeing here is there's secondary victims in this, that there's providers inside the community that are then victimizing the community themselves by signing them up, because when we're going to some of these people, they're like, I had no idea I was in this program. So I think it's asking us then, for every crime, which of course the majority being committed by white men, asking us to do more about that. I think it's crime in general. And I think the biggest thing on this is just making sure that we're educating the population. And again, this is 80 people or so that have been convicted in this, maybe some more in that, out of a broader ring. Medicaid fraud will stretch across all racial demographics, all ethnic groups. So I think it's really important for us to note each community's got this in their own midst, but to blame them and say that they should have been responsible for stopping it, I think that's a pretty hard reach. I think we continue to educate folks about why they shouldn't commit crimes. You would hope that it's being taught both at home and at schools and in our society. But no, I think this idea that the Somali community's to blame for this because they didn't do more, I think that's how we got into this. And that's, again, I know we're not going to lose the whole plot here. All this work that's being done, Donald Trump brought this to the attention like this is something brand new. This is not brand new, and it's been being worked on, but he made it white hot and very dangerous.
And of course, these fucking idiots have the googly eyes going on. Of course, both of them have googly eyes.